Mist curls through the dense mountain canopy. Rain hisses on the leaves. A silverback lies motionless in the undergrowth, his massive chest no longer rising. Around him, the forest holds its breath. And then, a rustle. A trembling infant clings to his lifeless side. Titus is born into absence. No one calls for him. No chest beats echo in triumph. His mother, eyes wide with instinctual panic, cradles him with one arm while scanning the shadows for movement. Other females shuffle nervously. Without the dominant male, the group is vulnerable, exposed to roaming rivals, to silence, to splintering. A distant chest beat thuds once. The females freeze. Titus's first days are nothing but survival. A mother who won't let go. A clearing too quiet. A group in retreat. They move constantly through misty ravines, slippery roots, mud-slick trails. Rain blurs the lines between forest and sky. The infant clings harder, learning the rhythm of loss before he knows the sound of his own voice. Then a change. Another female, Poppy, draws closer. She shares food, lingers. When the mother leaves to forage, Poppy cradles the tiny gorilla. She doesn't speak, but her body speaks protection. Slowly, a fragile triangle forms. Two mothers and one orphaned son of the forest. But the forest has no patience for the weak. A blackback approaches. His chest is broader, scent stronger, and his stare unrelenting. He's not from this group. The females scatter like birds. Titus's mother screams, her voice raw, guttural. The intruder charges. Poppy doesn't move. She grabs Titus and bolts into the ferns, limbs whipping past. Behind them, chaos erupts, shrieks, crashing branches, the brutal thud of fists against flesh. She doesn't stop. She doesn't look back. Night falls. Titus breathes in the scent of Poppy's fur. Earth, sweat, fear. It will become the smell of safety for him. He eats when she eats, climbs where she climbs, watches every move she makes. She teaches him to avoid the eyes of other males, to keep low, to stay silent. He learns the forest's secrets, hidden caves behind waterfalls, fruit trees guarded by hornets, the difference between the growl of a leopard and the wind-shifting bamboo. And one day, he watches. Two silverbacks fight deep in a ravine. The younger one slams into the elder with terrifying force. No mercy, no warning, just rage. Titus, now older, clutches a mossy tree and studies every second. The way the older male hesitates, the misstep that ends it, the moment strength becomes memory. Later he mimics the movement, arms flexed, feet planted, chest rising. Poppy watches from the shadows. She doesn't stop him. Titus grows. His limbs lengthen, his back darkens. Females notice, juveniles follow. He beats his chest once in the cold morning air, and the sound echoes longer than before. Still, he doesn't speak. The forest doesn't need words. It remembers rhythm, weight, presence. And soon it will remember Titus. Not the orphan, not the shadow, but the storm. Mist weaves through the canopy like breath. Morning drips from every leaf. The forest is still, then a beat, deep, measured. A single sound that cuts the quiet. Titus thunders his chest in the clearing. He's no longer a shadow. Moss clings to his knuckles. His back is jet black now, shining faintly with dew, eyes steady, shoulders square. A juvenile snaps a twig in surprise nearby, but Titus doesn't flinch. He has claimed this slope. His presence demands obedience. Females begin to gather. At first it's subtle. They linger closer, groom near him, share figs. He doesn't chase. He doesn't coax. He holds still, watching everything. One by one, they align with him. Not out of fear, but because he carries something larger, steadiness, strength, a future. But the forest never bows without testing the spine. Another silverback, older, larger, scars etched deep into his chest, blocks a trail one dawn. Titus steps forward, no call, no warning, just stillness, coiled like a storm. The older male rises and charges, fast, brutal, aiming for the throat. Titus doesn't retreat. They collide with bone-breaking force. Mud flies, leaves scream. For every blow he takes, Titus gives two. He moves low, jaws bared, arms relentless. A bite, a twist, blood, then silence. The older male crashes to the ground, breath ragged. He rolls away, broken, and vanishes into the underbrush. Titus doesn't follow. He stands alone, bleeding, chest heaving, surrounded by the silence of the watching trees. The forest has heard him now, and it listens. The next day, a new female joins him. He gains more than mates. He gains followers. A young blackback shadows him constantly, mimicking his movements. A limping elder male lingers in the periphery, offering grunts of deference. Even the birds seem to watch him longer. But dominance breeds challenge. Weeks later, a leopard circles the group at night. Low growls slither through the mist. A juvenile panics, running too far from the safety of the group. The leopard lunges. Titus moves like thunder. He crashes through vines, his roar tearing through the dark like flame. The cat turns just in time to catch his charge, teeth bared, fists swinging. The predator flees, slashed and howling. The juvenile trembles behind him. Titus doesn't look back. He stands at the edge of the trees, scanning the horizon, chest heaving with fury and resolve. From that night on, none question his place. His group swells, not the largest, but the most disciplined. They travel in tighter formations, nest higher, share more. A rhythm builds, a unity. And yet, he senses the shift. Another silverback scent on overlapping trails. Broken branches too fresh, chest beats that echo too close in the early light. A presence, watching, testing. Titus pauses at the ridgeline one dusk. The sun bleeds behind the trees. His eyes scan the forest beyond. Something is coming, not just another challenge, not just another battle. A rival that remembers him from long ago, one with shared blood. And Titus, silent, scarred, sovereign, tightens his grip on the mountain he now rules. Because the next fight won't be for dominance. It'll be for the soul of the forest itself. The mountain fog hangs lower today, thick, reluctant, as if the forest itself is holding its breath. Titus crouches on a ridge, head still, eyes narrowed. Below him a clearing ripples with unease, broken branches, a new scent, heavy, familiar, unwelcome. He's returned. Titus's half-brother, Munyara. Born from the same father but raised in violence, Munyara vanished seasons ago after a failed coup. No goodbyes, no scars left behind, just disappearance. But now he's come back not as a wanderer, but as a threat. And he brings followers. 2 blackbacks trail his flanks. Their chests are unscarred, but their stares burn with ambition. They don't fight yet. No chest beats, no charge, just presence. A claim made in silence. Titus watches. He doesn't descend. In the days that follow, something shifts, subtle but dangerous. Females linger too long at the edge of the territory. A juvenile vanishes for half a day, found later near Munyara's scent-marked trees. Even the birds grow louder, their songs shrill and broken. One morning, Titus wakes to find a female missing, her nest cold, her trail heading east. He doesn't call out, doesn't follow. Instead, he circles the group tighter, keeps the youngest near, rebuilds nesting sites closer together. Each movement calculated, strategic. But inside, something fractures. Not fear, but betrayal. The second female leaves 2 nights later. No sound, no confrontation. Just another scar beneath the silence. Munyara doesn't fight with fists. He fights with doubt. He poisons the trust Titus built. Where Titus guards, Munyara tempts. Where Titus protects, Munyara whispers, freedom. Then comes the call. A blackback Titus once fed now beats his chest in Munyara's direction. The sound is sharp, deliberate. It echoes across the valley like a signal flare. The forest responds. Branches tremble, insects still. Even the wind changes course. Titus descends that evening, alone. He doesn't roar, doesn't posture. He simply walks into Munyara's presence and stands still, daring him to step forward. For a long moment, neither moves. The other males watch from the shadows, caught between blood and dominance. Then Munyara grins. It's not with teeth, but with timing. A juvenile from Titus's group appears behind the rival, eating figs beside a young female, now under Munyara's protection. Titus's nostrils flare. The forest doesn't erupt in battle. Not yet. But something ends in that moment, a balance. That night, Titus builds his nest in the open. No cover, no distance. He beats his chest 3 times, each thud deeper than the last. It's not a warning. It's a declaration. Munyara responds from the opposite ridge. 1 beat. Cold. Final. The forest has chosen sides. The mountain will burn before it bows. The air is thick before dawn. Still. Ominous. No bird calls. No rustle in the brush. Just tension. Raw. Waiting. Titus opens his eyes to a sky still inked with darkness. He doesn't move. He doesn't need to. He knows today has come. Munyara is here. The scent rolls in first, rank, heavy, familiar. Then the rhythm, thud, thud, thud. Chest beats from below, taunting, measured, a challenger's cadence. Titus rises. No hesitation, no grooming, no warning calls. The forest knows what's coming. Juveniles press back into the trees. The females vanish like ghosts. The underbrush trembles beneath retreating feet. Titus doesn't run. He walks. Down through the sloped mist, over the ridge where he once fought his first rival, past the fig tree that fed his newborn tribe. Each step is deliberate, final. The mountain exhales with him. Munyara waits in the ravine. He stands surrounded by his followers, 3 males, 2 females. They shift anxiously, sensing what their leader pretends to ignore. This is no ordinary battle. This is a reckoning carved in blood, in silence, in years stolen by exile. Their eyes lock. Titus does not charge. He steps forward, slow and terrifying, chest lifted, arms wide, lips pulled back, not in rage, but in purpose. He makes himself impossible to ignore. Munyara reacts first. He lunges. The impact is seismic. Mud explodes beneath their feet. The first blows are wild, flesh tearing, bone snapping against muscle. Titus ducks low, crashes upward, driving his shoulder into Munyara's gut. A roar explodes from the trees. One of the young males cries out in fear. The others flee. Now it's only them. 2 silverbacks, 1 crown, no more games. Titus fights like he's holding the forest together. Every strike is earned. Every roar sounds like thunder cracking stone. But Munyara is younger, faster. His movements serpentine, his hits sharp and ruthless. He claws at Titus's shoulder. Flesh peels. Blood spatters the ferns. They crash again. Titus lands a brutal bite to the arm. Munyara screams but doesn't stop. He spins, slams his body into Titus's ribcage, and the sound that follows, crack, shatters the air. Titus stumbles. He tries to rise. Legs shake. Blood pours from his side. His breathing comes shallow, one nostril clogged. He looks up, vision swimming, and sees Munyara standing over him. The younger silverback doesn't roar in triumph. He waits. One final test. Titus lifts his hand. His fist curls, but never rises. He collapses. Munyara steps back, not in pity, not in mercy, but in recognition. The battle is over. The mountain has a new king. The forest goes quiet. Hours pass. A soft drizzle begins to fall. Birds dare to sing again. Titus lies beneath a thicket alone. No followers, no challengers. His breath is slow, but his eyes remain open, watching the canopy sway above, remembering, not the fall, but the climb. The rain stops just after dawn, the clouds thin, and golden shafts of light pierce through the mist like quiet prayers. Near the ridge, the forest is still, but not empty. A juvenile gorilla climbs to a high perch where the leaves still drip. He beats his chest once, soft, uncertain, then again, louder. He doesn't know why. But the mountain does. Below him, a trail of broken ferns marks where Titus fell. The blood has dried, dark against the moss. No scavengers touched his body, no crows circled above. He was left untouched, as if the forest itself stood guard. Munyara never returned to that side of the ridge. He rules now, yes, but he builds his nests lower, away from the sacred trees. The females follow, but they don't look back. The ones who remained loyal to Titus have gone silent. They nest quietly. They groom less. One watches the horizon every night before closing her eyes. The wind sounds different. One morning, a group of colobus monkeys gather on a branch above Titus's old nesting spot. They chatter, then fall still. A massive male sits in the center, silent, his body bruised, his face weathered. He turns to the younger ones. They watch, they listen. He was there when Titus fought. He remembers the sound of the impact, the rhythm of the blows. The moment the old king stopped fighting, not from fear but from finality. And that memory travels, a rustle, a bird call, a shaken branch. The story of Titus moves not through language, but through presence. A ranger walks the trails days later. He finds the spot by accident, the broken leaves, the silence. He kneels. He doesn't take samples, doesn't disturb the scene. He just presses his hand into the damp earth and closes his eyes. He feels it, even if he doesn't know why. Further down the trail, beneath a cluster of twisted vines, a young blackback finds a rock, large, flat, familiar. He sits. It was where Titus used to rest after long climbs. The young male beats his chest 3 times. Thud, thud, thud. The echo carries. That evening, storm clouds roll in again. Lightning flickers above the canopy, and just before the sky splits open, something extraordinary happens. A line of guerrillas, young, old, silent, form near the ridge. They sit, still, unmoving, facing east. The spot where Titus last stood, they don't speak, they don't cry. They remember. A single female rises. She walks to the tree where Titus used to watch the sunrise, leans against it, and closes her eyes. A moment later, a juvenile joins her, then another and another. The mountain is not mourning, it is honoring. Titus's reign didn't end in glory, it ended in sacrifice, in silence, in the kind of strength that doesn't need witnesses. The jungle moves on, but beneath the roots, in the call of the birds, in the shape of the trails, the forest remembers its king, not for how he fell, but for how he stood. Titus never asked to be remembered. He never roared for the sake of fear or climbed for the thrill of being watched. But the forest saw him. It knew every step he took, every battle he endured, and every silence he held. And when he fell, not as a conqueror, but as a guardian, it listened. Now it's our turn to listen. If Titus's story moved you, if his fight stirred something inside you, let us know in the comments. What would you have done in his place? Was his fall a defeat or the mark of something even greater? Like, subscribe, and share this story with someone who needs to be reminded that strength isn't always about winning. Sometimes it's about standing tall, even when you're alone.